Hey guys, this is a continuation pretty much of the last conversation because 10 minutes is probably all anyone wants to listen to. So break it into two. Through the years, a lot of people have said to me, why do I go on so much about understand what things mean? Call things by the right names, all this caper. I've been accused of being a grammar Nazi and stuff like that. But it's quite simply that how we use language, how we understand language, is usually a reflection of how we think. So if I can't understand what something is, how can I get my mind around it? How can I get my head around it? And I think we all know that everything comes from our mind. My body doesn't work if the information doesn't come from my mind. So understanding what we're saying, so my mind is working on the same script, is very, very important. Calling things something they're not, it's not cute, it's not modern. It simply means you don't understand. And if you don't understand, you're going to end up in the middle of a shit fight with your dick in your hand, getting beaten to a pulp. And I don't think any of us want that. So let's look at what Wing Chun is. We all know that Wing Chun is a concept-driven, defense-oriented, counter-attacking martial art. So what does that mean, this big description? It's not just a name, it's not just a description. It tells us about the environment, it tells us about ourselves, and most importantly, when we understand it, it tells us about the bad guy. Martial arts, essentially, they've come down from things that were used by militaries. And so think of any military engagement. They don't just engage people without getting as much information as possible, without knowing their strengths, their weaknesses, their capabilities, without knowing where reinforcements are, all this kind of stuff. Intelligence is essential. With us, where we're anticipating using our training, we're going to have no ability to gather intelligence. It's going to be random people in random places, a surprise. We'll have had no chance to get any genuine intelligence. But once you understand what Wing Chun is, we're almost creating a funnel that gives the bad guy very, very limited opportunity and very limited prospects of attacking us. So it's pretty much being forced into playing our rules, playing by our game. And all of that we can gather simply from understanding what concept-driven, defense-oriented, counter-attacking martial arts actually means. So let's unpack it. Concept-driven. Concepts are ideas. It means that for us, the idea of what we're going to do, the strategy, the philosophy, or as I like to call it, the fist logic, is the most important aspect. Everything we do will want to be aligned with that fist logic. I could use a chair, I could use a leg of lamb, I could use anything. And if I align with my fist logic, then I'll be using Wing Chun. This is why it's so flexible, it's so wonderful. And it's also why it's so weak when people try to use it straight out the box, because it's not meant to be that. Defense-oriented. I've had loads of students and loads of even seniors say that Wing Chun is not a defense-oriented martial art. We're counter-attacking. This is just some kind of mad ego fit. What does it mean, defense-oriented? It means our position is defensive. Does it mean we are defensive? It means our position is defensive. What does that actually mean, our position is defensive? Let's build a little story here. There's one group of warriors in a camp, and there's another group of warriors decide they want to take that camp. So they attack the camp. The warriors in the camp defend the camp. They're both the same. They're both trying to kill each other. One are defending because they're trying to stay in their position. One's attacking because they're trying to take the position. Frequently in these situations throughout history, the defenders have killed all of the attackers. And they've never had to leave their camp. They've started as a defender, finished as a defender, and everything's good. So this idea that somehow defending is negative, I don't know where that comes from, and it isn't. It's just a fact of this is where we are, and this is where we have to deal with things. Because of that, it tells us that we expect things to happen here. We're not going to run across a field and meet with someone. That's an attack. We're going to let them come to us. We're expecting it to be right here, handshake distance, because we're defending, they're attacking. And once we understand that and we accept that, we're almost anticipating it. We don't get that worried when people are trying to steal our space. Another misunderstood thing is counterattacking. What does counterattacking mean? Well, while somebody is in the middle of an attack, they're completely consumed by their thought of attacking, they're paying no attention to us. That's when we think the best time to attack is. So it's not a set time. It depends on when we think the bad guy is consumed by his ideas of attacking. It doesn't have to be even here. He could already be in trouble running up the hill towards us. We set off a whole load of arrows. That's a counter-attacking arrow volley. Another aspect of counter-attack, again, we're in the camp. Guys are trying to get in. A couple of people manage to get out round the camp, round the outside of the camp without being seen. Attack the side. That's a counterattack because the enemy are completely consumed with their wish to attack. And then we can get inside there. So what does that tell us? It tells us that we want to let the guy throw the punch. We want to create an environment for the bad guy where he thinks we're bunnies, where he'll throw this great big punch thinking, you beauty. And then we just say, boom, we pop in and we hit him. This is common in every type of martial art. But for some reason, people don't bother trying to find out what it means and what it actually sets us up for. And what does it tell us about the bad guy? It tells us where he is. He's here. It tells us what his mindset is. He's only thinking about attacking me. It tells me his level of preparedness for defense, which is going to be 0 because he's only thinking about attacking me. So we're not lost. We see some shit going down. We can virtually invite him in because he's going to come down the funnel and make life easier for us. And I get it, this is a bit hard to get your head around because it's counterintuitive. But when you stop and think about it, that's what that's how Wing Chun works. We need the guy to be so blind with rage, so full of himself that he doesn't see what we're doing. And then it's a home run. In a genuine violence situation, whoever lands the first meaningful blow is going to cause the other person to basically have a brain fart. Their brain is going to turn off. They're going to stop thinking about what they were doing. Now, even if this is only 1/10 of a second, they're not going to stop in the middle of a punch. It's not like pausing a tape recorder and then it comes back on and bang, they finish the punch. No, suddenly they've gone like this. Then there's a little bit of, oh, where am I? Well, what's going on? So although the brain fart may only be 1/10 of a second, it could be as much as 2 seconds before the bad guy is really focused back in and knows what he's doing. 2 seconds is an enormous amount of time in conflict. I mean, anyone can punch 4 or 5 times in a second, so you could have landed 10 punches in 2 seconds. So, it's worth thinking about because it sets us up to win. Doesn't mean anything crazy. It doesn't mean somehow we're not hard cases, we're not tough guys because we're inviting him on. And this is our fist logic, yeah? So if we ended up swapping a few punches and a gap breaks out, then we're faced with the choice, do I chase him down and beat him up? Or do I just step back, set, and let him attack me again? Well, our fist logic says step back, set, let him attack. Because that's where we just got the advantage there. We step into him, we're going into 50-50 territory. Try and think about these things, and we'll try and put them into some real physical situations so we can see them working. But never forget, different martial arts were created for different reasons. You take boxing. Boxers condition their body so they don't have to worry too much about defense. They'll duck and they'll weave and they'll nudge away a punch and maybe parry a little bit, but they don't really care if they get hit. They're conditioned for that. If you can, check out the fights between Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier. Muhammad Ali was a really wonderful exponent of not being hit, and Joe Frazier just didn't care. He'd just walk in. He was hit about 10 times for every one he landed, but he was so confident in the power of his punches that he was willing to take that on. This is really the most important difference between self-defense minded and attack minded. Being hit. Don't know about you guys, but I don't think I should be hit. Anyway, we'll try and work on it. Hopefully this helps a little bit. What kind of day is it for you?